my mom had multiple boyfriends in the few years that I remember, and this one in particular she stayed with the longest was a crazy drunk, worse than she was. And my mom was pretty bad, yeah. And this dude was so abusive towards my mom. I have no idea what the heck she even saw in him. He's just like angry. And I remember there was a couple times where I actually walked out of the living room to him, like yelling at her and hitting her. And I remember yelling, "Don't hit my mom," trying to stand up for my mom, even though it's not going to do anything. But it's like you see your mom being hurt and you feel helpless. So, and then he goes to, "Don't effing blah, blah, blah," cuss at me. And my mom was like, "Go back in your room. Like, trust me, you don't want to deal with this," basically. And so I just go back in my room, and lo and behold, they're just out there arguing, doing whatever they're doing. And this one time, she actually came home from his house where he beat her pretty badly. And she actually slept in our room with us that night. And she would never sleep with us. I remember being really little and just wanting to like so badly sleep with her just to be comforted, like a normal mom would. And she would never let me sleep with her. And so the fact that she had slept with us that night just spoke volumes to what really happened that night between them. And she told us, she was like, "There's blood all over his room. He was doing this and that to me." And it's just crazy because it's like, why would you stay with a man who literally would beat you all the time? I just don't understand. And then my mom would get with these really nice guys, these men that would actually take care of her and treat her well and be really nice to us and take care of us. And then she would just break up with them. And she's like, "Oh, well, I don't like them because they're too this, they're too that." And I'm like, "Mom, they take care of you and they take care of us. Like, isn't that what you want? You want to be taken care of, not treated like..." It's just crazy. Just crazy because I'm sure our lives would have been a lot different if my mom would have stayed with the men that actually took care of her and were nice to her. I'm sure we probably would have stayed with her and lived with her longer than we did, but obviously God has better plans for our lives, and we were not meant to live with her longer than we were supposed to. But it's just interesting looking back at all of the different boyfriends that she had. And I remember like having a favorite one. He was so nice, and he actually protected us a couple times and my mom from the crazy drunk ex who broke our lock and made our door not lock anymore. I think it was around Christmas time that my mom had the nice dude over just in case the crazy drunk would come over to protect us all, because she was scared. And as I mentioned before, we had no money. We were super poor. This one time, my mom had given me a haircut while she was drunk. And I actually have a picture of it. I'm going to have to find it because it is so bad. She cut my hair and gave me like this janky mullet looking thing. And it's so funny because I have a picture from when I was in second grade next to the guy I had a huge crush on, and I had a Bugs Life sweatshirt on, like a crew neck. And this boy I had the biggest crush on, and here I look back, he looks so good, well kept, well hygiene, like clean clothes on, and there's me in my drunken haircut, my skimpy clothes, it's just so funny. Yeah, there was a lot of, when you live in poverty, not knowing and then you look back and you see what you grew up with, there's just so much shame and embarrassment. And I think that's what took me a really long time to accept my childhood and what I grew up with, is because of that. Is because I was just so embarrassed and I didn't want anybody to know. And now I'm just like, well, it is what it is. I had no control over it. All I can do now is just give my kids the best that they can, and just accept those parts of me and just be like, hey, you're seen and you weren't an embarrassment. And the shame that you held was not yours to carry. This one is a sad one, honestly. I remember one time we had to do projects in second grade, and our teacher gave us the assignment. So it was an assignment and homework to do, and it was for St. Patrick's Day. They're like, okay, go home and make a leprechaun trap and bring it to school. And obviously, when the day came, I didn't bring one because my mom wouldn't do one with me. And two, we just didn't have the money to come up with that stuff. And I remember being one of the only ones not having a leprechaun trap. And we got to walk around all of the other kids' desks and see all of the cool things that they came up with. And it was just so cool. And it was sad because I was jealous, I'm like, man, I really wish my mom would take the time to do that kind of stuff with me. And I just, we just never had that. She was very much so avoidant towards us, not very loving or caring or nurturing. It was very much so me and my sisters on our own, and my sisters being the mother role instead of our mom being the mother role.